Well, good morning. I know it's been a bit. I'm gonna try this whole walking vlog thing. I got a new camera. I had a P7800 Nikon that I brought out to the mission, and now I'm on the CV1, which evidently takes better videos. Stabilization is pretty good, but my arm's gonna get tired. But yeah, dang, update. Last you heard of me, I was like going to Albania for a bit. That didn't happen. I went to New Jersey for a year and I learned Spanish, so that was cool. I'll be going back out there pretty soon, finish up the mission, but honestly, like, it was awesome. It was so cool. I love the mission. But, I mean, look at this day. Such a beautiful day. My shoulder hurts so much right now. Oh. But, I have no idea what to, like, give in this update. I don't know if I should speak in Spanish, if I should speak in English. I'm, like, mostly fluent, except there are some words that, well, there's a lot of words I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to talk about. Okay, I've thought of it. Nothing else really came to mind, so I figured I'd just talk about the thing that I was doing for the past year and explain why going on a mission is, like, definitely the best decision I've ever made. I'll tell you a little bit about my story too. So I always fought it. Like, I had a lot of friends and family that were always like, oh, like, you should go on a mission. And I don't know, the desire was, like, it was never really there in the beginning for me. And I, like, thought about it a couple times, but, you know, none of my siblings went out, and I kind of felt like there was this expectation, because none of my siblings went out, that it would have to be me. And I was like, well, I don't want to go if, like, I'm just expected to, right? And so I didn't want to go. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that, that's crazy. And there was this elder. I was out with the missionaries one day. I don't know, I was like 17. This was years ago. And we had gone out, we had a lesson, and we were, like, knocking doors and stuff. It was pretty cool. Like, I had no idea what missionary work was at that point, right? And after we were all working and doing all that, he asked me a question. He was like, well, what's stopping you from going on a mission? And I was like, well, you know, there's, like, work, there's, like, family, friends, you know, school, yada, 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 this, that. You know, I was just, like, throwing stuff out there, I guess. And then he asked me, he was like, well, where are those things going to be when you get back? And I was like, I thought about it for a minute, and I, like, knew the answer, right? And I was like, well, I guess they'll be there, right? He's like, exactly. So, like, what's holding you back? And I was like, shoot, you know? And so that was the first time that it, like, really was, like, kind of planted in my mind. And I thought about it, and I was like, okay, yeah, like, I'll go. That'd be a good thing, because, you know, there's no reason not to. And so I thought about it, and then I just kept going to school, because I was, like, a junior or something at that point. And I finished up school, and I kind of just forgot about it. I kind of just, like, that went away, right? And then, let's see. Eventually I ended up going to BYU, Idaho. Met a ton of super, super, super cool people. A lot of great memories there, a lot of great stories, a lot of great lessons, right? And when I was in college, I got my patriarchal blessing, and in that blessing, you know, God had communicated to me that that's something that I was going to have the opportunity to do, was to go on a mission. And so I was like, oh, okay. You know, well, now that I know. And so, oh, there's a bunch of geese over there. So yeah, then I was like, okay, well, I know I'm going, but now I don't know when, right? Like, there was no, like, oh, I'm just gonna, like, fill out my papers right now, which I, like, could have, but I didn't, right? So I stayed there for a bit, and, stayed in college, learned a lot more, um, and then eventually, 2024, towards the end of 24, I finally started working on my papers, and then I went home, spent some time with my family, and then finally submitted them sometime early 2025. That was when I got my original mission call um, to Albania, and then I realized that I hadn't submitted a bunch of medical information, and so I went in and updated that, and then they're like, oh, so then I got reassigned, but like, this is all part of God's plan, right? Like, this is exactly where I needed to go. There's no doubt about that for me. Like, not at all. Not at all. Because it was incredible. Like, I can't describe it. Like, but yeah, so I submitted them, and then I got reassigned to New Jersey, Spanish speaking, which also was like super hard for me in the beginning because I had never wanted to learn Spanish. I was always against it, which is really funny because I had studied Russian in the past. And in Spanish, there's just so many words. Like to say we are missionaries of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In Spanish is like 14 words. And then in Russian, it's like 7, So it was like, Russian is just such a direct language. And I was studying that a lot. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then I got the Spanish call, and I was like, in all honesty, I was like, man, like I was excited, but I was also like, because I read the call and I like skipped over the language part. I was like, oh, New Jersey, that's cool. And I was like looking up Morristown on the computer and all that. And then I was like, wait, did I see the word Spanish in there? So I go back and I look at my call and I see Spanish language, and I was like, oh man, like what? I was like, that can't be right. And so I like procrastinated it so much. Like I had a decent amount of time, right? Before home MTC, before MTC, all that, like all the training. Like I could have started learning Spanish. I didn't. I was like, nah, don't want to. I was like, there's so many, like lo, lay, like it was just weird to me, It was all super foreign. It didn't make any sense. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. So, like home MTC started, and I was like completely lost. I remember the first language class we had. We were going over like Spanish introductions, like buenos dias, buenas tardes, all this stuff. And like it took me like a day just to memorize like a couple phrases. It was so hard in the beginning. Like it was just this massive roadblock for me. I was like, no, like I can't do it. And then I got to the MTC, and we were in full immersion language classes, all that. And I was frustrated that I couldn't communicate properly, And I was like, man, like I love people, I love their stories. Like I just want to be able to learn about someone and communicate with them, you know, well, fluently, like I do in English, right? Because I love people and I love learning about people. And I was like, man, I just want to be able to do that in Spanish. And then, actually, what changed it all was the Book of Mormon. In the MTC, we did these like practice street contacting, which this is a crazy part of the story that I'm going to say later as well. So we did this practice street contacting, and with the Book of Mormon. And so we're in class, I'm holding the Book of Mormon, and the whole thing was just like to meet someone on the street and like introduce the Book of Mormon to them. And like, holy, that literally changed everything. Like before that, I was super against Spanish. I was like, nah. And doing that exercise, like I just felt the Spirit so strong. I was like, I will use this in my mission. Like this will happen. And I didn't know. Little did I know that like 3 or 4 months later, that was actually going to be the whole like initiative of the mission, was like introducing the Book of Mormon to people, street contacting. So like that's crazy. But yeah, from that point on, when we did that, I was like, man, like I really got to learn the language. I really want to be able to share this with people, like this is really important. And so that's kind of where my love for Spanish started, and of course like wanting to be able to communicate with the people. But anyways, I kind of distracted a little bit from the story. When it really comes down to it, like what my reason for going on the mission or what got me out, honestly, it's just God. Like he put a lot of different people in my life at the right time that I needed to learn from, that I needed to encourage me, that I needed to, show me. I don't know. It's one of those things where it was all like perfectly organized. Like everything's perfectly organized under his plan. Like it's only joy, it's only happiness. Like I've tried to do things my way. Doesn't work. We don't like my way. But God's way, once you actually learn, that's where true happiness lies. Like it changes everything. It changes your motivation. It changes a lot. Okay, so God's plan is what got me out on the mission. So now let's talk about what actually happened out there. And this is the good part. Like this is where being out there, I realize, wow, like this is an incredible thing. It's not like in any means easy, right? It's not, you leave home, right? You like leave everything. It's great because it's kind of like you don't really have to worry about anything. You just have to worry about, spreading the gospel. You don't have to worry about living and any of that. But in that situation, because it is so focused on that, like you do start to miss some things. Like you miss family, you miss friends, you miss, kind of just being able to do whatever you want, right? Being able to, like for me, for example, I talked like every day about the mountains. I miss the mountains so much because like, look at this. This is incredible. Like that's what I missed. I missed being in the mountains. I missed being here kind of alone, because it is something I do enjoy. Like I enjoy the company of other people, but at the same time, I do like my alone time, right? I do like just sitting out here. And I had missed that a lot. And I remember feeling really isolated when I started my mission because, you're far from family and this is like a completely foreign place. You don't really know what you're doing. But over time, like you start to see the blessings. Like if you pay attention, you'll see them right away. But it's really easy to focus on the hard parts, on what's not working, on the struggles, on the rejection. But honestly, just immediately, like right away, there's so much joy in the mission because, like, you're doing a good work. You know that you're helping people. You know that you're doing everything you can to just spread light and love, and that's something that's like so cool. It's like awesome because you're in the street. I'm with my companion Elder Leaper, and we're just in the streets of Trenton, and we're just like spreading light and love. We're like, hey, how's your day going? Invited me to the church. There was a lot of that. There's a lot of knocking doors. There was a lot of rejection, but at the same time, like, there's those people that smile. There's those people that enjoy and see what you're doing, and they appreciate because they know the importance of religion, of belief, right? Of faith in God and Jesus Christ. and just like the people, the missionaries, the connections that you build, the companionships, the things that you learn about yourself too, about what you can't handle, what you can handle, your limits. Really great spot to learn your limits. Whether that's in energy, whether that's with people, where your motivation lies, like there's a lot that you learn about yourself. That's like something I'm super excited about. I'm excited to go back and just keep learning, right? Because it's a huge learning experience. Like every day in your training, like the first few months, you're just like exhausted all the time because everything is learning. You're learning the language, you're learning how to be a missionary, you're learning how to get up and do this every day and stay motivated and try to find what is your reason to keep going. And it's a lot, but it's not too much. Never at any point is it like, man, I can't do this anymore. Because at that point, when you think that you can't do it anymore, God sends you like a little miracle. He's like, yes, you can. You can keep going. And he'll send you a little tender mercy. And I remember having a lot of those where, I'd hit a moment where I was like, man, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know the language. This is rough. And then he would communicate with me in some way that only I would understand. And he would show me something, whether it be with like photography or just something that I would understand. And I was like, okay. I'll keep going. I'll keep going. But overall, like really the greatest joy in the mission is just experiencing the love of Jesus Christ. Like sharing that with other people, seeing someone change because of their discovery of that love is really, really, really incredible. Because their whole light changes, their whole spirit, their presence is so much more bright and full of joy. I miss the mission. Change is good. Change is good. Especially change towards God, towards Jesus Christ. That's where true joy is. I think that's all I need to say.